Hi, I'm Jonas Olsson, the CEO at SVID, Swedish Industrial Design Foundation. We are a research and development foundation that's been ongoing since 1989, and we were founded by the Ministry of Enterprise through the Statens Industriverk and Royal Academy of Engineered Sciences and the Association of Svensk Form, actually the oldest design organization in the world. This year it's 176 years old. We are situated in Stockholm but works all over Sweden on national assignment, and our main assignment today is lying under the Tillväxtverket, the authority of regional and economical growth in Sweden. Why design then? I think design has the ability to work with a lot of perspectives at the same time, which is all, of course, a super interesting tool when it comes to tackle all the challenges that we have now. But we also have, from a European perspective, a new Green Deal for sustainable development. And they have stipulated now from the Commission that we are supposed to use a model that is called New European Bauhaus for that. And that actually put design right in the center of the tools for achieving a circular economy, to achieve a more resilient society and a sustainable development. So to introduce Elena.
Yes.
Elea, sorry. I want to introduce Elea from On Materia.
Yes. Hi, I'm very happy to be here today. So yes, my name is Elea and I work in On Materia, design studio and collective. We're working as product designers. There's 3 of us in On Materia as of today. And we are based between northern Skåne and Stockholm. We're a bunch of international designers. I'm from France. We have also the UK and Mallorca, Spain, in our team at the moment.
And you have some upcoming ideas about how to totally rearrange the hotel sector and the huge amount of waste that's coming out from the hotel sector every year or every day or night. So
yes,
you have a neat idea about that.
Yes, definitely. So today I would like to share a little bit more about the Green Box. It's one of our projects that we've been working on for the last 4 years, and it's basically an amenity kit engraved into a circular business model and circular way of thinking and creative process for trying to be a little bit better on our disposable products that we have in the world today and that we use as customers of the hotel industry.
Splendid. And what brings you to that idea that you really need a new kit for the hotel rooms?
Yeah. So this kind of started. I was studying my master's degree in Switzerland. So that was 5 years ago now, and the project kind of was putting into place a lot of ideas that were ongoing, both from previous studies, from previous research, but also from the simple fact of collecting plastic on the shore of Lake Geneva. And then there I realized the amount of disposable plastic that we were using and that we were finding, which was absolutely outrageous. So in a place in Switzerland that we think is so clean and perfect, and yet we were finding a lot of disposable plastic products on the shore of Lake Geneva. So this was kind of a wake-up call to keep on pushing further. And then when I started doing research in finding which industry and where we were producing and using single plastic items, but in huge quantities and for a very short amount of time. And the hotel industry was one industry that came to mind. And then by doing a bit more research into that, then quickly I figured that, yes, there is something there that we need to do. There is a closeness also to the customers that we can also then raise awareness about those issues. And the fact of bringing it into the hotel industry was also that we can work with a closed system. So that's where circularity was very important. So we can have the enclosed loop where products
Closing
can...
the loop.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Fantastic. But the hotel sector has suffered tremendously during the pandemic. Are they open to new ideas like this, like to circularity and sustainability? Are they very traditional, even though they are pretending to be in the front row and so on? But they are quite traditional anyway. But are they adaptive?
Yeah, I think every industry coming out of this crisis has a duty to do things differently, to look at the world in a different way. So already big hotel chains have had many steps in looking at telling customers you can reuse your towel if you're staying more than one night. And this was kind of, something, you go to the hotel, you use your towel and then you dispose of it and somebody will come and clean the room and clean the sheets and everything. But today you can already say, as a hotel chain, like, please customers, think about the water and the environment, and you can keep your towels for longer. So I think there was already something initiated that the hotel industry was looking into. And then I think as designers, we also have a duty to show that there are other ways without being necessarily disruptive and changing how we want to be received in the hotel and how we want to be as a customer. But we have a duty to do things differently. And there I think there's a huge opportunity with the hotel and the loops there that are already existing in the economy to be able to change maybe a material, change a couple of thicknesses, and then raise awareness both for the hotel industry, but for the customers. And then it's a gain in economics also at the end of it, of course.
Super. It's very contemporary. It's very contemporary. I mean, it's something that should be like a rocket on the market, I believe. And it should be quite easy to find venture capital also for an idea that is so resilient and sustainable. So let's go from indoors, the hotel, to outdoors. We have Jan Christian Westre also here, the CEO at Westre Furnitures, who actually furnish the public spaces. Would you give an introduction to yourself maybe and tell a little bit more about how you are working with circular economy? I heard somewhere that you are building the most eco-friendly factory in the world right now.
Yes, that's true. Thank you so much for inviting me, Jonas. I'm sorry I can't meet you in Malmö because of this COVID shit, but we really can't wait to get back to our best friends in Sweden. So hopefully that can happen soon. So I'm in Norway now, and we are a Scandinavian company founded in Norway, actually by my grandfather back in 1947. We are recently one of Europe's leading suppliers or brands for social and sustainable outdoor furniture. We do have all our manufacturing in Sweden and Norway, based on 100% renewable energy and the greenest possible materials available on the global market. We work in close partnership with prominent designers, Swedish, Norwegian, and from other parts of the world, and we have received numerous design awards. But to us, design is not important as itself. Design is important when we use it as a tool to change the world. So our mission is to change the world one neighborhood at a time, and we are doing so by creating caring and social meeting places around the planet where people get together, share life ideas, experiences, get to know each other, because that's how we can build mutual trust, a sense of belonging, togetherness, and that's also how we can avoid conflicts and a more polarized society. And what we are really afraid of is the fact that we are living in a world where us and them thinking instead of rethinking is spreading. And that's something we really should avoid. And we all have a responsibility of bringing people together, even during a pandemic. We have to take some kind of, be a bit careful then, but after the pandemic, I'm sure that the need will be the same. So that's basically what Westre is all about. And yes, Our goal is to be recognized as the most sustainable furniture brand at the planet. We have been carbon neutral now for more than 11 years. We do have more than 250 Swan eco-labeled products in our range. We are the first furniture brand on the planet to publish EPDs, environmental product declarations, on all our products without any exception, meaning that everybody can see exactly how much carbon footprint comes with each and every product, how much energy was needed for manufacturing resources throughout the lifetime of the product. All our products come with a lifetime warranty. If you travel around Norway, you will find retro pieces of furniture from the 50s and 60s and 70s still out there being enjoyed by the public. So making things with a long-lasting lifetime and the lifetime warranty, that has never been difficult to us. And yes, now we are doing something I would say spectacular, because during the pandemic and the worst economic recession since the 30s, we decided to invest and make the biggest investment in the Norwegian furniture industry on decades. We teamed up with Bjarke Ingels and his team of architects in Big, Copenhagen. And we are right now building the world's most eco-friendly furniture factory called The Plus in the Magnor in Norway, close to our existing Snøhetta design factory in Torsby, Värmland, designed and built in 2013. And The Plus, our newest development, is the first industrial project in the Nordic region to meet the very highest and most stringent BREEAM outstanding regulations, meaning it's the world's most eco-friendly furniture factory. The project is Paris proof. We're not only meeting the Paris Agreement, but we're actually over fulfilling the Paris Agreement. So our project will reduce the carbon emissions by more than 55% compared to a similar new factory. We will reduce the need for delivered energy by more than 90%, and we will reuse 95% of all water. The building is based on wood from Sweden and Norway, CLT, glulam, 100% recycled reinforcement steel, low carbon concrete, and so on and so on and so on. And we are doing this simply because we want to bridge the gap between climate activists and people concerned about nature and biodiversity. We want to show to the world that it is possible to combine new, attractive, profitable jobs and at the same time fight climate changes and restore and protect nature and biodiversity. I mean, in a sustainable future, we need to do both, and there is way too much talk about the green shift. What we need is real action, bold statements, bold decisions, and I mean, specific projects on the ground that actually show how this green transition can speed up. Because friends, remember, we have less than 10 years now to end climate changes and stop the damages on nature and biodiversity. So it's really urgent, and we have to step up if we are to do this together. But I'm optimistic, and I think we can do it if we decide to use design and architecture as a tool to change the world as we do, instead of just pushing new products into the market, because the world has more than enough products already.
Fantastic. And but I know you have the factories, but I also read somewhere that you should be also the most sustainable logistic furniture company in the world also, which it's like you wanted to electrify all your fleet of transportation vehicles.
Yes, that's true. So right now it's based on the latest generation of biofuel, which is, I would say, not the future, but it's the best thing available on the market right now. And our goal is that before 2025, all our logistic operations around the world should be based either on 100% renewable energy. We're actually producing our own renewable energy from solar panels on both our factories. We were the first or one of the first companies in Europe to order Tesla Semi, which is the world's first fully electric semi truck. And we are investigating now how we can use hydrogen and other energy sources to be able also to ship our furniture globally around the world. And we're also looking into how we can use renewable energy in the markets where we are present, to make sure that the entire value chain is based on 100% renewable energy. And I think that will be possible. Again, I'm really optimistic. I believe in technology. I believe in the power of humans. And I know if we unleash all our creative abilities, if we work together in the world to solve the main issues we have to deal with today, I'm pretty sure that we will make it. But it's not good enough, as old Milton Friedman, one of the world leading economists, said many years ago that the only social responsibility of private companies is to maximize its profits. I think that kind of short-term profit maximization approach is the reason why we are dealing with the major issues we are in the world today. That's why we have a climate crisis that's based on a resource crisis, because we have produced much too much waste and just continue on going on instead of banning products designed to have a short lifespan. And that's also why 800 million people around the planet is still living in extreme poverty, and injustice is actually everywhere. So I think private companies should ask themselves the question, how can we actually contribute? How can we use the sustainability goals, the global goals, to change stuff? And remember, no one can do everything, but everything can do something, so we can all change the world a bit. And if all companies can start thinking like this, instead of just doing what is right for the short-term profit maximization, I know we can unleash a lot of power to help speeding up this green transition. And that's basically what it's all about.
Wow. I mean, I was intrigued by your motto, change the world block by block. Also, I think that is really, really neat. And but how is the competitive? I mean, how is the market? Your fellow colleagues in the furniture production world has taken it. Are they like intrigued by this also and want also to push the borders, or are they like, no, look, you can't just change the world. The business of business is business. Or
yeah,
is it?
as Friedman said, yeah. I think we face both, actually. We see a lot of companies stepping up, but there is also way too many old-fashioned companies. And I think some of them actually just try to close their eyes and hope that this is something that will just be over, but or something that they don't have to think about. But that's really wrong. I think companies not stepping up now and not take this serious, I think they will be out of business in a few years, because we don't need them. They're a part of the problem. They're not part of the solution. So I think we see both, but I think the main thing for many companies and brands, and this is no matter what kind of industry they're based on, is the fact that we have to go from a linear economy into a circular economy where throwaway products don't exist anymore. And that's quite hard to change for many companies. As I said, if you travel around Norway, you will find Vestre furniture 60 years back. So we have done this in 73 years already. It's not new to us. Now we call it circular economy, but we have done the same actually in decades. But I think for other companies, based on the fact that they are kind of set up to produce more and more and more and more stuff, and hope that they will be damaged and destroyed so that they can sell even more pieces of objects, that's the main thing we have to change today, this entire picture of how we use our resources. And that's hard and difficult for a lot of companies. And I hear many companies talking about sustainability, but they are still pushing products which is not designed to last forever. And I mean, how sustainable could that be? So private companies should step up. I believe in them, but I also think we need braver and more bold politicians. For instance, when we know about how huge this global problem of waste is, why can we not sit down together and simply decide that we will ban products with a short lifespan? I mean, how is it even possible as a furniture brand to compete on public tenders if you're not willing to offer at least 15-year warranty on your furniture? If you cannot tell public tenders, I mean, it's the taxpayers' money we are spending here. And if you cannot tell the customer what kind of resources did you use, how much energy did you use, what's the carbon footprint of this product, where can we get spare parts if needed, how can we maintenance and refurbish this product, and what happens to the product after 50 years, let's say. If you cannot provide that kind of information, you shouldn't be allowed to compete on the market. And if we use the market as I describe it now, combine politics with the market economy and try to push this green transition in a new way, we can make a green revolution in, let's say, 5 years from now. So it's not that it's not possible. It's not that it's very, very expensive or impossible to do, but we need some bold people leading the way and actually say that, yes, this is what our generation needs to do before it's too late. So less talk, more action. And that's also why we are building the Plus, because we are sick and tired of people talking about the green shift in manufacturing industry. Now we want to prove and how this can be done. And remember, it's not only the most eco-friendly furniture factory on the planet. It's also the most transparent factory. Here are no fences, no closed-off areas. Everyone can watch the manufacturing whenever they want, 24/7 through large windows. They can even access our roof terrace 24/7. We share openly with all our competitors everything about our materials, our production technology. We have developed revolutionizing new technologies of putting up a factory like this, including building precisions and many things. We will share everything for free. Some people find that a bit naive. How will you share your secrets with your competitors? But I'm happy to do so because it's just pushing the green shift. We need more companies to step up. So sharing is caring, as always.
I do believe you're right again, and if SVID, the Swedish Industrial Design Foundation, also could use your open source and also give it to the third part, that would also be something really good. So maybe we should highlight some of your open source takes on our webpage, actually, as tools and guides. But I was thinking of one thing. Elia, you as a master in industrial design from Zurich, and or from Switzerland at least. If you were head of design for a year at Vestre, what kind of advice or what kind of design skills would you do as a take to Vestre during that performance over a year?
Great question, thank you. I was just, actually, while you were speaking, I was thinking that to be able to bring also new generations of designers, people that are not necessarily always familiar with the industry that you're working in, can bring, outside perspectives and with their own view on the world also. And because sometimes when you don't know something, you can ask more questions and then you can get things moving ahead. So I'm sure you have some programs like this where you work, of course, with designers and with your design team. But I think something, quite daring in that sense also, because often I think designers and the creative industry is struggling, and we're going to keep on struggling, but we need to invent the job of the future. So having designer as a job title is amazing because you can just do whatever you want, and as long as you have the opportunity or that you give yourself the credit to do what you want to do. So we need to also invent the job of the future, and to do so we need industries that are forward thinking like Vestre, to be able to give the space to designers to say, well, here you go. It's something that we are not sure about. We need
iterative.
Yeah, exactly. We need someone to think about it, and here is some space, and enjoy, and something will come out of it. I mean, in design, in the research process, it can be quite quick, but it can also take a long time to do research. And I think, like, for example, on the green box on my project, I would say like the research process was maybe 6 months, but with all the years accumulated before and where I grew up and all that influenced also. So it's like 6 years, but all my life also before was part of the research phase. Yeah.
So, I like that. But also, if your idea, if you want to secure your firm, your company for the future, you need an industrial designer.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because then you can take in all the perspectives. You can mature your company into something more solid.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think like creativity lays in everything that we do, and even if you work in finance, there is creativity in there. But of course, as designers, we have certain tools and certain view on the world and a way of thinking and looking at things that is a little bit different than other professions. And I think the combination of all of that, and then I go back to what you were saying, we can't do these things alone. We have to put all the knowledge together, and I think the designer and the design thinking can really enhance and push that forward in a beautiful way.
It makes everything more coherent. I mean, mind the gaps, do it with a designer.
Yes.
It's true. I have another question. If you have 30 seconds to spare, Johan Christian, and tell us a little bit, what is circularity to you in 30 seconds?
In 30 seconds? Well, 3 things. 10 seconds each, quality from day one, because that's the basics of circular solutions. Secondly, everything should be possible to restore, refurbish, take apart. And thirdly, when they are taken apart, it should be reused. And if we think this 360 degrees, 365 days a year, 100%, we will get there. I know for sure. And it's not possible. It's actually very efficient, simple, clever, smart. So let's do it.
Great. And to close the loop, I give you 30 seconds also to close the loop in circularity. What is circular design to you, Ilya?
So circular design to me is it's something you approach with an open mind. There's always the next step that you have to start thinking about before even finishing the first one. So you need to look at the bigger picture. You can't just look at this little thing that you're doing right now. And by doing that, then I think you're going to realize also that even if you got to a certain stage, even if you have a fantastic idea for a product, you need to see what influences the product in the totality of its life, in everything that makes that product. And then circularity is a collaboration. It's not something you do by yourself. It's something you understand where, you know, the plant grows from, where the seed has been planted, what had nourished the soil, and then what creates then the raw material, and the whole chain completely, all the way back to nourishing again that soil where you planted that first seed. And whether that first seed is an idea or it's actually a plant that then you're going to turn into bioplastic, like for the greenhouse, for example, then it's looking really at the totality of that, and it's extracting yourself as an individual and as maybe a self-centered society, but is looking in the bigger picture and is disrupting the systems that we are in today and that we know. So that's what circularity is for me.
Fantastic, fantastic. And I was also, I mean, Sweden is famous for being a collaborative partner and networker on excellence. So, of course, you know Peter Stordalen, the famous, notorious hotel owner and real estate manager from Norway. You will, of course, introduce him to Elea, so she has some sort of critical mass to try the green box too.
I'm sorry, I don't know him, but I'm sure we can find a way, Elea. And I love the product, and what I love most about it is the fact that it is about how can we use design as a tool to change the world. And one of the things that makes me very optimistic is that I think we see a new generation of industrial designers now, and exactly all kind of designers asking themselves that same question: how can we use design as a tool? I've met way too many designers in my life only concerned about the aesthetics and how things look. And I mean, that's part of the problem, because the world doesn't need more products now. What we need now are solutions to deal with our global issues. So we should bring more politics back into design, architecture, landscape architecture. You brought up the Bauhaus movement from the 30s. I mean, it's so great to see that those kind of values and ideas are back now. How can we use our knowledge and our tools actually to change stuff? But it also needs to be, I mean, bold. It's not just something we can talk about here, and because we agree on all those issues, but it also needs to be bold in terms of making real decisions. For instance, I simply cannot understand why so many designers are involved in different hostile design solutions. We face this all the time in many markets, you know, for instance, public benches with spikes and armrests and other obstacles designed to keep homeless people away from the streets. And I mean, you can blame the private companies and profit maximizing bad people, but I mean, there are designers behind those products. And I simply cannot understand, if we have created a society where some people cannot afford a proper place to live, that's something we should deal with by political reforms, not by hostile designs. But still, designers around the world are doing this. So that's why I'm saying that it's not only enough to agree in discussions like this, but they actually have to step up and do what they know is the right thing. And they should stop earning money on things that are bad and immoral. We simply refuse to do any hostile design project. And I think if we can get more designers, more companies, more knowledge, more people on board this global movement for change, it's, I mean, no limitations on what we can achieve together.
You're right. And that was one of the main issues about the old European Bauhaus also, the cross-sectorial, the interdisciplinary take, where philosophers, artists, and people that have huge skills in perception, people's perception, working together with designer and artists and ceramics and textile producers, textile artists and architects, of course, to solve a higher obstacle, to solve things. And that's what we have to do also today. Cross-sectorial, working together. But it's a little bit better if you put a designer in lead of these transitions and proceedings, I think. Together we can change the world, as you say. So thank you very much for participating and have this excellent, nice little chat with me. And I would like to say goodbye and au revoir, and let you also have some finishing words to say.
Thank you so much, Jonas and Jan Christian. It's been a pleasure to be part of this chat. And yes, I think keep circularity and creativity bind together, and we'll have a brilliant future with that. So,
splendid.
Hej då.
Jan Christian, have you some final words also?
I would just say thank you, take care, can't wait to see you again, and remember, everything is possible still.
Everything is possible.